Good day everyone. So today let me discuss to you the advanced inheritance concepts in Java. So these are the objectives for these slides. We have how to create and use abstract classes using dynamic method binding, creating arrays of subclass objects, use inheritance to achieve good software design, create and use interfaces, create and use packages. So we're done with the introduction to inheritance. So remember that you can reuse existing classes, no? So for example, A is already existing and then you have a class B. So B can inherit the properties and operations of A. With that, whatever are the capabilities of A are inherited by B. So you can have also methods in B, and then B can also use operations or methods of A. So for example, there is another class C, okay, which is a subclass of B. So C can inherit all the properties and operations or methods of B. So because B inherits operations and methods of A, therefore anything from A and B are inherited by C. Now, this is very okay if we have only there is only one subclass for that certain class, and just like this, C is only the only subclass of B. But what if we have this scenario? So for example, you have your A and then your class A has subclasses B and C. Okay? And for example, napailain, let's say D. And then again, these three subclasses can inherit the operations of A. But what if these subclasses, okay, have or each of the subclasses has an operation which is an operation that exists in A, but they are implemented or they are doing it differently in the subclasses. So example, we have the method play. So play, for example. So example, this is a game. So let's say we have a class game, and then a game will have a method play. So when we say game, a game could be a basketball game. It could be volleyball game. It could be a what is this? Let's say volleyball, basketball, or that this could be Larong Pinoy game, Larong Pinoy. So when we say basketball, diba, we have that play also, we have that operation play also, we have that play operation in volleyball, and we have that play operation in Larong Pinoy. But if you notice, when we play basketball, it is different from volleyball and it is different from the Larong Pinoy. But because they are all games, so they have operation play, or each of this game has an operation play. So with that, we can say nga si play dili ni maka-inherit man sila sa play, but because they have different way of doing it, dili siya pwedeng apply sa mga subclasses. And having this implemented in A will probably change the purpose or the intention of each of these classes. So instead, so for example, ang imuhang game is you will be creating the play, same with basketball. So if that is the case, even if volleyball na siya, ma-inherit gihapon niya ang play, which is for basketball. Same with the larong Pinoy, same play with the basketball, which will really change the story, diba? So with that, there are really operation that needs to be declared abstract. When we say abstract, that is a method that has no implementation, because implementing that one will not help the subclasses. But if it is really important, no, so that method should be each of the subclasses should have a method like this, and though they will be implemented in different way, so imuhagid na siyang specified din sa superclass nga this should be each of you should have an operation like this. So you are creating a contract between you and the subclass, that because you're a subclass, because you are my subclass, then you have to implement this abstract method. So let's go back to this definition. You have here abstract class. So this is a class in which you cannot create any concrete object, or you cannot create an object out from an abstract class, because it is considered as incomplete class. So just like an ordinary class, okay, a class can also inherit from that abstract class. And just like an ordinary class, an abstract class also has instance variables, constructors. You can also write setters and getters. So the very reason only why you declare it as abstract, because of the presence of one or more empty abstract methods. So when you declare an abstract class, this is the head, this is how you write the abstract class. So example, you have public abstract class, and the name of the class is animal. So diba, when the animal class is actually a very general term, because if we probably imagine what is an animal, diba, we cannot immediately imagine what is that, because there are different types of animals. So again, the reason why you declare the class as abstract, because of the presence of one or more abstract methods. So what is an abstract method? It is a method that does not have the following. It has no body, curly braces, and method statements. So to create an abstract class, you use the keyword abstract, and then the header must include the method type, the name and parameters, and then it should be ended with a semicolon. So this is an example of that: public abstract void speak. So again, the reason why you declare the class as abstract, because you are expecting that this class, or the class to be created, will have multiple subclasses, and these subclasses have different implementation of a certain method from the abstract class, which is declared in the abstract class as abstract method. So when an abstract class is implemented, okay, so the abstract method of the abstract class should be overridden, or should be implemented by the subclass of the abstract class. So for example, you have a class A, and then A has a method A there, tapos A has the following subclasses, let's say B, okay, C, and then you have D. So each of this class should implement A, okay, because A is declared as abstract in the class A. So you have here so kanano, subclass of abstract class, it inherits the abstract method from its parent, therefore the subclass should provide an implementation. Okay, so again, you cannot create an object from an abstract class. So for example, the animal class is declared as abstract, therefore this is okay. You can create a reference of an abstract class, So example, you have their animal ref. Let's assume that animal is an abstract class, so it's okay to declare a reference variable of an abstract class, but when you assign object to the reference of an abstract class, it should be the object of the subclass. So in this case, so this is our ingani siyang hierarchy, no? So for example, we have an animal class, and then the animal class has an abstract method speak, and then let's say we have the following subclasses under animal. So let's say cow, and then dog, and then cat, for example. So each of this class should have an implementation of the speak. So na yung mga implementation sa speak. Ingana. So if you create a reference variable of an abstract class, so ang imong i-assign ng object kana should be the object of the subclass. So example, you have there new cow, and then you assign that to animal ref. You can also say new dog. You can assign the object of the dog to the animal ref, or you can also assign the object of the cat to the animal ref. So in this case, we can say that animal ref can change its form. It can be a cow, it can be a dog, it can be a cat. So with that, the polymorphism is present. So it can change its form from one to another. So when we say polymorphism, that is poly means many, morphic is form, right? So you have there many forms. With this way, gitawag na siyang dynamic method binding, or called late method binding also. So depende sa imong gi-assign nga object. So for example, you write there, diba, imuhang siyang gi-assignan og cow si animal ref. So pag ingon nimo nga animal ref and then dot speak, so because the assigned object to animal ref is a cow, is the object of the cow, so the speak will be of that cow. So if for example, next nimong gi-assign nga object is of that the dog, when you call the speak, so it will change its form of the speak of the dog. And if you are assigning the object of the cat to animal ref, then when you say animal ref that speak, so the speak will refer to how the cat is speaking. So we call it late binding. So when we say late method binding, an application's ability to select the correct subclass method. So depende sa gi-assign nga object niya. Gitawag siya late method binding, or it is also called dynamic method binding. So it makes program flexible. Notice that you have same statement, but this will act in different way. Depende sa type of object nga imong gi-assign. So pwede man na siya, diba? The animal ref can accept the object of the cow, the animal ref can accept the object of the dog, the animal ref can accept the object of the cat, because these are the subclasses of the animal. So remember that in Java, promotion is allowed. Promotion. So the reference variable of the superclass can accept the object of the subclass. So okay, so we have this example again. So you have the animal ref, and then when you assign the cow to the animal ref, when you call the speak, you have there it will be the speak of the cow and then the speak of the dog. You can also do this, no? Public static void talking animal, and then you pass a reference or a parameter which of the animal type. So with this, you can actually pass dog object, cow object, or cat object to the talking animal method. Okay, so you have there, this is an example, you have there talking animal dog, talking animal cow. So when the talking animal is passed with the object dog. So this is what is happening. You have there come one, come all, and then see the amazing talking animal, animal that get names, whatever is the name of the dog, and then animal that speaks. So depend is a type of object. So because it's the dog, so it's the speak of the dog. Okay, so before we proceed with creating arrays of subclass, so let's have first the demonstration on the implementation of the animal class. So we will be elaborating the implementation of the animal, the cow, the cat, and the dog. Implementation of the animal class and its subclasses. Okay, so again, the reason why we will declare the animal class as abstract because of the presence of an abstract method, which is the speak method. So public abstract class animal. So just like an ordinary class, your abstract class can also have instance variables or attributes. So for example, private string name of the dog, and then let's have, for example, the age of the dog. Ayan. And then let's have the breed of the, is it the dog? Not really the dog, but the breed of the animal, the name of the animal, the age of the animal. So just like an ordinary class, your abstract class can also have constructors. So public animal, and let's have here name, and then age, and then breed. So this that name receives name, this that age receives age, and this that breed receives breed. Okay, so we can also have, because the default constructor is already omitted, so let's create that one. So it's an empty constructor. So just like in ordinary class, you can also have the setters and the getters. So let's have the setters, public void set name, public void set age, and then set breed, we can also have the getters. So public string get name, then the last one is public string get breed. Okay, so let's also create the toString, public string toString. Okay, so let's return the name followed by space, followed by the age, followed by space, and followed by the breed. Okay, so and then the reason why we are declaring this as abstract, because of the presence of the speak. So for example, public abstract void speak. Okay, that's it. So this is an abstract class. Now take note, if a class is an abstract class, and then a certain class will um, be, or will inherit the animal class, or will inherit the abstract class, so that class is required to override or to implement the abstract method. So let's have the first class. Okay, so let's have the cow. So for the cow, public class cow, if a class will extend to an abstract class, then it is required to override or to implement the abstract method of the superclass. But if the subclass will not override, then that subclass should also be declared abstract. So in our case, we will not declare cow as abstract. We will let cow implement the speak method of the animal class. So for example, public class cow extends animal. So because cow is now the subclass of the animal class, meaning to say this class now is required to override the abstract method of the animal class. So let's also have a constructor for the cow. So let's have their string name, int age, and then string breed. Okay, and then because this is already initialized in the animal, so we will just say super, and then pass there the name, the age, and the breed. And again, the default is already gone, so let's create that one. Okay, that's it. And then let's create the implementation of the speak. So public void speak. Let's have here system that out that print ln moo. Okay, so that's it. Then let's have another class. So let's name our class dog. So let's have two subclasses only of the animal class. So public class dog extends animal, and then again let's have the constructor string name, int age, string breed. Okay, and then let's have super, pass there the name, the age, and the breed. Then the empty constructor, and then the implementation of the speak. Notice that we are not anymore writing the word abstract, and then instead of having the semicolon, we write the we have already the curly braces and the statement within. So speak ow ow, like that. So we have now two classes. We have the dog and we have the cow. Okay, so let's now proceed with creating arrays of subclass objects. So going back with our class animal, remember that the animal class is an abstract class. So when we create the array or an array of animal, this is how we do it. So for example, you have their animal, bracket, animal ref, new animal, and then you have the value 3 inside the bracket. So it means that we are creating an array with 3 rooms. So we have like this, so index 0, index 1, and index 2. So accessible rooms are the following. You can have the animal ref subscript 0, the animal ref subscript 1, and the animal ref subscript 2. So this is capital R, capital R. Okay, so it means that we are reserving memory for 3 animal object references. Object class is the root of all classes, and this class is defined in the java.lang package. You don't need to import the java.lang because it is automatically imported. The object class includes methods to use or to override. So some of the methods or the methods of the object class are the following. We have this, the clone, the equals. We have also the toString. So toString is actually one of the methods of the object class, and notice that we override that or override it in the class animal. So the toString returns a string representation of the object, and by default it returns the address, okay, the hash code of the object, but we can actually override that. So this is if you will not override the toString, this is how the toString is invoked. It will display the class name followed by @ and then the hash code, but you can override that. And by the way, the toString is overloaded. There is also a toString version which accept a there is also another toString, okay, aside from the toString which has no parameter. Okay, so the equals takes a single argument. It returns a boolean, and then by default it compares the addresses of 2 objects. So if you would like to see the content, to compare the contents of the object, you override it. Okay, so that's it. So using inheritance to achieve good software design, the advantages are the following. It saves development time, much code is already written, it saves testing time, and programmers understand how a superclass works. So before we proceed with this creating and using interfaces, we will first continue with the array of objects. So let's have the implementation of the array of the animal class. So let's have an array of animals. Let's create the class animal cage. So let's have now the animal cage. So let's have this problem. Write a program that would allow the user to add animals to a cage. So the animal that can be added to a cage can be a dog or a cow. So what we're going to do is to count how many animals are there, how many dogs and how many cows. Display all animals, all dogs and all cows. So in this demonstration, I will be creating the operations such as adding an animal, displaying all animals, the dogs and the cows, counting all of them, but allowing the user to enter values. So I will leave that to you. Okay, so let's begin. So public class animal cage So in our animal cage, we will have the, okay, let's just declare this protected. Okay, so let's create an array of animal. So we will be using the name cage, and then in order to determine how many number of animals we have in our cage, so let us declare variable count. So for the constructor of the animal cage, okay, so let's prepare this, a constructor that will allow somebody to specify the size. So whatever is the size passed to this constructor will be the size of our cage. So it means that this is the capacity of the cage, so how many animals it can hold, and then we will initialize our count to 0. Now for example, somebody would like to call the empty constructor, then that should have an initial value of 10 for the size. Okay, so meaning to say, if the empty constructor is invoked, then the cage will have a capacity of 10 by default. Now, how are we going to add an animal to our cage? So let's have here public void add, and then this is the animal to be added. So the reference variable we are using here is a. So let's have here if. So let's have one method. No, we will call that method public boolean is full. Okay, we can only say that the array is full if our count is equal to the whatever is the size of our cage. So here in our add, we will only add animals if we will only add an animal if our cage is not yet full. So in that case, we will say if not is full, okay, then we will add the animal. So let's have here cage subscript count plus plus receives a. So by writing this, the count is initially 0, and then when we call the add, so it becomes cage subscript 0 receives a, and then the next time we call the add, it will become cage subscript 1 receives a, because the count plus plus here is a post increment. So the value of count will be used, and then it will be incremented. So and then let's prepare the toString. So the toString will display all the animals. Public string toString, this will display all the animals. So let's have string buffer sb new string buffer, and then let's have here for int I initial 0 while I is less than. Do not write their cage at length, instead use the count, because this is the number of, this is the variable that counts the number of animals we have in our cage. So it's not the cage at length, because if you write their cage at length, you're trying to access the capacity of the cage. Okay, so you have here I plus plus, and then let's have here sb dot append, and then let's write cage subscript I followed by, okay, that's it only, and then followed by, let's have backslash, and so that after printing it will go down. Okay, and then after that we will return whatever is the content of the SB. So in order to determine if our implementation for the toString is correct and also for the add, so let's try public static void main string args Okay, and then let's have here animal cage, new animal cage. So because we invoke the constructor, the default constructor, it means that the size of our cage is now 10. And then let's have here animal cage, cage. So cage dot add, so example, we will add cow. The name of our cow is Kowi, Kowi, and then the age is 2 months, and then the breed is cow cow. Let's say Brahman. Okay, example. So let's also determine how many animals are there already. So let's have here public int. Anyway, you can access that count because it is declared protected, and the main is also within the class animal cage, so we can just access the count. So let's have here system dot out dot println, okay, number of animals, and then we will call let's have here cage dot count, and then we will display the animals. So system dot out dot println, okay, cage contains, and then let's call the cage. So okay, let's try to run this one. Cannot be converted to animal. Okay, so this is wrong because the name of our class is animal, it's not int. Sorry for that. Okay, so we have now number of animals. You have 1 cage contains Kowi, 2 Brahman. Okay, better siguro no if we will put there a value. So let's have here I plus 1 followed by cage, so that this will be added. Okay, let's put parenthesis. Okay, Kowi to Brahman. Now let's what else? Allow the user to add animals to a cage. It can be a dog or a cow. Count how many animals are there. So we have already the count. How many dogs? How many dogs? So let's count how many dogs are there. So let's have here public int count dogs. Okay, so how will we count the dogs? Let's have here 4 int I, initially 0, while I is less than whatever is the count, I plus plus. So let's check if cage subscript I is an instance of dog. If it is an instance of dog, then we will simply what? C plus plus, and then let's initialize here our C, int C initially 0, and then once we're done counting the dogs, let's return C. Okay, let's have here system dot out dot print ln, okay, dogs count. So let's have here, let's call the cage dot count dogs. Okay, so dogs, it's still 0. So let's try to add a dog. Cage dot add new dog. So let's say Doogie, and then 3, and then Chihuahua. Okay, so dog count is now 1. So next, what's next? So let's count the number of cows. Let's count the number of cows. So count cows, and then instance of cow, and then okay. So let's have here. Okay, so let's have cow count. Next, we will be displaying the all dogs. We will be displaying all dogs. So public void display dogs. Okay, so let's have here for int I initially 0, while I is less than the count I plus plus. So if cage subscript I is an instance of cow, then display dogs man siya, no? So let's have instance of dog. So if it is an instance of dog, then we will simply display that dog. So let's have here cage subscript I. Ayan. So let's call this display dogs. Okay, that's it. So your dogs, you have Doogie, 3 Chihuahua. Now what I want you to do is to do the public void display cows. Okay, so you complete that method, and better also if you can change this to an interactive program, so allow the user to enter the value for the name of the animal, the age, and the breed, and then you supply this, you add that user entered value to the cage, and then display all the cows, all the dogs, all the animals, count how many dogs are there, count how many cows, and count how many animals all in all. Okay, so that's for your activity for this week.